FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And I'm excited about this band because this band I've followed here for the last couple of years. In fact, if I remember back, I was looking at going back here a little bit when we first started playing them. They had a song called Welcome to My Head. And it was at least, I know, a good 3+ years ago when we started that. We're talking about the band Wayland, and on the phone right now I'm talking with Phillip Vilenski. And Phillip, first of all, thanks for joining us tonight on the program here, The Dark. And as I was saying there in the intro, I found out about you guys a few years back in that first song, Welcome to My Head.
Cool. Yeah, that was our first release.
And, you know,
we recorded that out in Los Angeles with Jude Cole, and the actor Kiefer Sutherland was involved with that.
Very cool, very cool. So, yeah, what's the history a little bit? Let's go back here to start. The history of the band Wayland. How did this band all come about?
You know, we're all four guys from the Midwest. 3 of us are from Michigan. The lead singer, Mitch, is from Indiana. But we met in Los Angeles. We all kind of moved out there to pursue a career in music. And once we starved for many years, just, trying to make ends meet. We'd all work day jobs, rehearse every single day, every night. And then finally we got the opportunity to make a record, like I said, through Kiefer Sutherland and Jude Cole, who manages the band Lifehouse. And they let us into their studio, basically borrowing and stealing studio time to get some songs recorded. And once the songs got released, we saw that as an opportunity to get the hell out of Los Angeles and get back to the Midwest. That's, we didn't want to be known as an LA band at all. We were super scared of that because, we're from Michigan, and that whole Midwest work ethic is really important to us, and that's kind of what we pride ourselves on as a band.
Very cool.
So once we were able to do that, we moved back to Michigan and, kind of did weekend warrior stuff for about a year, just like playing Chicago and Wisconsin a little bit. We rented this pre-Civil War farmhouse outside of my hometown, which is Wayland, and rehearsed there for a year. And then January of 2012, we kind of set out on our first little 3-week tour. And I think about a week into it, we just looked at each other and we were all like, there's no way we're going home. And so we just kept booking ourselves out, and we've done 300+ days a year every year since.
Wow, that's cool. The one thing you mentioned there is you guys were weekend warriors. A lot of bands are like that. I mean, a majority of the bands actually are like that, the local bands and that. And as you mentioned, did you ever think it would get to maybe that next level where you would actually go out nationally, or was it until you started to go out and tour to a few other places and go, hey, I like this, let's keep doing this?
I think since even before we had a band, the 4 of us have had those kind of dreams. I mean, I remember being 5 years old and seeing videos of, the Beatles and Elvis and the Stones. And I've always known, I want to do that. And I think the guys in my band, they come from the same kind of background. We've wanted it so bad, which is why we were willing to starve in L.A. for so long, which is why even now we're willing to sacrifice. Being on the road as much as you are, you're not there for your friends' weddings and your mom's birthday and all that stuff. You sacrifice your entire personal life in a way for the sake of rock and roll, for that 45 to an hour that you get on stage every night, and all the sleeping in Walmart parking lots and shaving in the sinks of a gas station and all that stuff, which is all part of the life on the road. But we've been really lucky to have the kind of guidance from the people that we have. Jesse Dupree, the lead singer of Jackal,
Yep.
has been a really big part of our lives and has kind of been there as a big brother to us. And help, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say he's helped ease any pain, but he's been there to kick us in the ass in any second that he thought that we were slacking at all. That's for sure.
Well, you need that. You need a big brother, and you need to have somebody that's been there, maybe even failed a time or two, and finally figured it out to help you out, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really the only way to do it. Because I run into we have like 3 or 4 bands, local bands that open for us every night in every town across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of them say to me, yeah, we're ready to go on the road. We're just waiting for somebody to take us. and that's the difference, is that we came to that realization that nobody was going to take us on the road. Capitol Records wasn't going to pull up in a limo and invite us to sign a contract and put us in a tour bus. We had to get ourselves out there. We had to start making fans one at a time. And believe me, that first year we were on the road, it was one at a time. I should say one bartender at a time, because sometimes that was all that was at the show. And then, thank God things escalate and you start playing the festivals and the bigger shows and whatever. But that was just that realization that we had to come to our own rescue, that nobody was going to do it for us.
We're talking with the guitarist of the band Wayland, that being Phillip Vilenski. You mentioned, one bartender at a time. You mentioned basically one venue at a time. In the last 4 years, 4 years, how many thousands of miles have you put on going nationwide? Do you have a number?
No, I don't have a number, but I can tell you we've been through 3 buses, 3 vehicles. We started out in a van, and we moved to a shuttle bus with bunks in it, and we just actually bumped up into a full tour bus.
Very cool.
So it's been a journey. We've been through dozens of axles and probably hundreds of flat tires and everything else you can imagine. It's an adventure every single day. That's what's so exciting about it, is you really, at the time, you don't always think of it as, wow, this is exciting, when you're stranded 10 miles outside of Kingman, Arizona, and it's 140 out, and you don't have cell phone service to call a tow truck.
Right.
You don't think of it as an adventure at the time, but all those things truly do make you a better band. Fighting through all those moments and getting yourself to the next show any way that you can. Really, I swear the crowd can feel that fight. They can feel the fight that you've been through to get there, if that makes any sense at all.
No, it absolutely does. I've talked to numerous bands, and that's the one thing that we've touched on a lot, is the actual just raw emotion of a band and when they're performing. And you can tell the ones that are just coming in there, just looking for a paycheck and walking out, are the guys that really are truly committed to doing this and showing everything they have out there. And as you mentioned, just a 45 to 1 hour show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And when you're out there, let's say you're in a van with 5, 6 other dudes.
Right.
It's a constant reality check. You're constantly forced to ask yourself, what am I in this for? Well, at that point, you're not in it for the money. You're not in it for the luxurious hotel room. You might have started out being in it for the chicks, but when you get in there, and like I said, you're 10 days without a shower, and you've been eating nothing but 89-cent tuna packets for the last 2 months, you really start to realize that your heart and soul has to be in it for the music. And that's why so many bands are moved back to Boise by Christmas, because if you're not in it for the music, you're never, it just isn't, it's not worth anybody's time. And I think, like you said, it shines right through. It's so apparent where your intentions are in this. I think just because of YouTube and all the social media, I think people's BS meters are higher than ever.
Right.
And so, the second someone's not real, to me, especially in rock and roll, rock and roll is so full of gimmicks and, pyrotechnics and backing tracks and guy liner. I really think that the real thing shines through more than ever.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell if it's real or if it's fake, and that's the thing. I think people are. I could be just saying this myself because I'm kind of old school in that way, but I'm one for I want to go out to a show. I want to be entertained. I don't need you to sound like you sound on the CD when you're inside the studio. I just want you to go out. Just let me forget about everything for a couple of hours and just have a good time.
Yeah, man, you hit it on the head. That's rock and roll. It's supposed to take someone to another place, whether it be a Monday or Tuesday night. It should feel like a Friday by the end of the night.
Absolutely. So if I've never been to a Wayland concert yet, what would I expect at a Wayland concert?
Oh, well, a lot of sweat and a lot of. It's high energy. We put everything we have every night into the show. no matter where we're at or who's there or who's not there. Whether we're playing in front of 5 people or 50,000, there's no question. And we're constantly challenging each other on stage. We don't play to a backing track, so we let the music live and breathe, and we change it up every night and try to experiment with each other, as well as get the songs across in the coolest way that we can. With exactly the way we're feeling. We always say, Mitch, our lead singer, a lot of times explains it as he's going to, however his day has been, he's about to take it out on the crowd. And he's exactly right. You can see where we've been over the last 24 hours through the show. And that's cool. To me, I love playing music with these guys, and I'm really proud of the songwriting. We've been recording in Memphis, Tennessee over the last couple of months,
right.
And we're going to finish a full-length record, actually, the second half of August. So we're getting ready to go into the studio and wrap it up, and we're really excited about that.
That has to be just a thrill in itself to be a band like you have been, to take all these years just to get to that next point, and then to be able to put an album together, and then eventually see the final product, and then get it out there to everybody and see what they think. Yeah,
and we've been a complete open door with our fan base, totally transparent. Like, you can sign up to be on our website on the it's called Warrior Nation on our website, waylandtheband.com, and we literally post a video every single day talking about the hardships of today, or a song we just wrote, or as soon as we write a song, we literally try it out at soundcheck and we'll play it on stage that night. We don't really hold back, we don't keep secrets very well. So so following us on Facebook and our website's a really good way to truly be intact with exactly what's going on with the band and kind of experience the adventure with us.
We're talking with Phillip Vilenski. He's the guitarist of the band Wayland. I was going to ask the name Wayland, but where it all came from, but I think you already kind of told me it's one of the towns near where half the guys grew up, right?
Yeah, that's my hometown. And Tyler, the drummer, grew up like right next to there, and Dean's from Michigan as well, and like I said, Mitch from Indiana. And we were looking for a band name, and we had pages and pages of band names. We could never agree on anything. And actually, one night we were going to see the Kings of Leon at the Hollywood Bowl, and the record was wrapping up, and we really wanted to have a band name that just meant something special to us. And, of course, everyone was pretty buzzed up, I think. And,
yeah.
It's like if you throw a band name out in a certain way, like everyone would say no immediately. I kind of noticed that as I throw names out. So this one, I wrote it on a piece of paper, and I gave it to all the guys. I was like, put this in your pocket. And sometime throughout the night, open it up. And don't look at it right now. Mm-hmm. And I think we were on our way back from the concert, and everybody had forgotten about the paper. And someone brought it up, and everyone opened it all at once, and we were in someone's car together. And everyone just kind of cracked a smile, and then it just worked, because I think it was a constant reminder to us of exactly who we are,
right,
where we came from, and like I said, we really had set out to not have any gimmicks in this band. It's just 4 guys from the Midwest that write rock and roll songs and play them as hard as we can every night.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Hey, do you remember some of the names that you wanted, maybe other than Wayland, that never made it, obviously, to be your band name?
They were ridiculous, man. Now they just would not make... Let me think. I know one of them that I was really going for was... I always liked band names that were like the somethings.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to be called the Sideburns at one point. Which is so stupid. It's just ridiculous. But
that's the fun thing, though.
Yeah, I know. Because, you start to look around, almost everything is taken, number one. And then you start to look at, signs and things everywhere where you are. It's, okay, the exits. Okay, the emergency exits. And you just get ridiculous, and pretty soon they're just out there. So by the time you go to explain it to somebody, what your idea is, it's so whacked. So I'm very thankful. I'm thankful that we have this name, because it means a lot to me. I'm from that town.
Right.
And I'm really thankful that my hometown has actually really embraced the band.
I was going to say.
I've done a lot of charity work for my hometown.
Absolutely.
I've done shows, for the schools there and stuff, and it's been a really cool relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I followed you guys on Facebook, and I see you guys go back to the town. It isn't even one of the videos out of the town. Did you do?
Oh yeah, the Get a Little video.
Yeah,
we blocked off the streets of my hometown and had Casey, the girl in the video, is driving the tractor right through town, and we're riding on it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
The mayor was out there drinking beer and stuff, and we're filming that.
Hey, you gotta like that.
Yeah,
I know mayors that drink beer.
You need a shot from the air. Let me get a fire truck over here. Sure enough, they got this big fire truck. They shot the camera guy way up in the air. It was awesome.
What is the population of Wayland?
About 5,000.
Okay. So you're able to do things like that a little easier than maybe in a town of 100,000.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like Detroit or something.
Hey, we're talking to Phil Vilenski, he's the guitarist from the band Wayland. Here's a few questions I always like to ask when I do some of these interviews. What's in your music collection that might shock me?
That might shock you. Well, in my personal, I'm just trying to think of my my personal iTunes right now. I have a lot of bluegrass music on there. I don't know if that would shock somebody or not.
No, not.
I was raised on bluegrass. My dad is a bluegrass player.
Very cool.
A lot of Motown. Other than that, I mean, right now I'm really, John Mayer is one of my favorite guitar players that's playing right now. So I've been really listening to a lot of John Mayer, which is not really like any music that we play.
Right.
But just an expressive player. I love that. Blackberry Smoke is a band that's been I've been listening to a lot. Have you heard of those guys?
I have not actually, but I'm interested now.
Oh God, you got to check them out, dude. They're a cool band because they're almost like a modern day Leonard Skinner.
Okay.
Like they're too country for rock and too rock for country, and they kind of just do what they do really well.
I just wrote it
from Atlanta.
Okay.
We met them out at Sturgis last year, so I've been into them ever since.
Very cool. I wrote them down
I like
here.
a lot of singer-songwriters. Butch Walker is another one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We kind of study the art of songwriting. Mitch and I always talking about lyric ideas, and we love, to find people that are good at twisting lyrics and stuff.
Right. How about some current bands right now that you're really liking in the active rock scene? Who are you digging right now?
I'm not too up on very many active rock bands, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, we don't tune into. I know the bands that we tour with a lot, but I make sure I catch bands like Blackstone Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
When we're at a festival and Seether's playing, I am there. I love the new Slash and Miles Kennedy record.
Yep.
There's a band, Temperance Movement, that I think is touching a little bit of active rock.
Yep, we've got some of their stuff. Yep.
Yeah, and they're actually touring with Blackberry Smoke, a band I was talking about a minute ago.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a rock and roll guy. So some of that stuff leans a little over to metal, which just isn't. I respect it and I love to see it live. It's just not my favorite flavor to really listen to all the time.
Absolutely. How about this question here? If you had to put together a 3-band bill, an ultimate 3-band bill, so Wayland and 2 other bands, and they don't even have to be bands that are even together anymore, what would be your ultimate bill?
Ooh, okay. Wayland would have to headline, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we would headline, that's for sure. So I would probably put the Rolling Stones as direct support.
Yep.
And then the Foo Fighters could be the opening act.
Could be the opening act. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
The Foo Fighters are a huge influence on us, just songwriting and as far as a good, honest band. We love those guys.
Absolutely. Here's a question, and this sometimes is a tough question to ask, or answer, I should say, but what artist would you like to cover one of your songs?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, and I don't even know if you're going to know who this guy is, but this could be my sub-answer. Have you ever heard of this guy, Richard Cheese?
Richard Cheese. I have
him out. He's hilarious.
Not. Okay.
He does all these covers of everybody's music, everything from the Killers to Metallica, Nirvana, as like big band lounge music.
Really?
And it's hilarious.
Wow.
Yes, it's awesome. We always put him on just as a laugh.
We'll put him on.
We always talk about how much we would love Richard Cheese to cover one of our songs.
Okay. So you've actually asked.
That's more of a novelty band,
right? So you've actually talked about this
band,
before. Yep.
What's that?
I said you've actually talked about this before then, huh?
Well, you know, when that guy comes up, it's like, yeah, how much do we need to pay this guy to cover our song? Absolutely. We're going to do a GoFundMe for that.
There you go.
You know, I think it'd be pretty interesting to hear the Red Hot Chili Peppers do a Wayland song.
Nice.
Maybe get funky with it.
Absolutely. What song would you maybe try?
I'd like to hear him do Reno.
Yeah, that could be, yes.
Why not?
That would be kind of fun to do that. See those guys up there rocking out to little Wayland.
That'd be ridiculous. I can't believe we're even talking about it.
Well, you know, it could still happen. You just never know.
Well, you know, if that show that we're talking about comes together with, you know, with the Stones and the Foo Fighters, then maybe the Chili Peppers would be interested in something like that.
They might be. Hey, we're talking with Phillip Vilenski, guitarist of the band Wayland. Have you guys heard your songs on the radio, I'm assuming?
Yeah. I'll never forget the first time my hometown station, WGRD in Grand Rapids, 97.9,
Yep.
when we first started getting played on the radio, it was like we'd be driving down the road and I literally would have to pull over. I'd be so excited, almost throwing up. And it's still a thrill. If we're rolling into town and we're listening in the morning and, you know, as they're on our way into radio and we hear ourselves on the radio, it's still awesome. That does not get old. That is the coolest thing ever, especially the further away from home. You know, when you're in New Mexico or you're in Spokane, Washington or whatever. It's just like, it's the same thing with the crowd singing your songs, singing the words. And that does not get old. That's like, holy crap, I wrote that in my bedroom, and there you are singing. You know, it's amazing.
It is. It has to be a thrill. That's the question I was asking there is, what does it mean to you to hear yourself on the radio? What does it mean, I guess, to hear your songs on the radio?
Well, you know, the radio is such a, no matter what state anybody says it's in or whatever industry crap is happening, it's still the radio. It's still the thing that has supplied, you know, human beings with music since the 20s or 30s. It's as a musician and especially as a kid that gets that bug to be a musician. I mean, that's something that pops in your head is, I wonder if my songs will ever get played on the radio.
Right.
And then as you start to enter that world, it's, like I said, it's still exciting. You know, we're about to put a single out in a couple weeks, and you know, but you talking to people that are going to play it on the radio, and it's like, wow, it's a huge honor because you know what, I guess the reason it's exciting is you know that it's being broadcast out there with all those watts behind it, and there's a chance that someone might turn it on and hear your song for the first time and like your band.
Absolutely.
And that's why we do it, you know. Why we play music is to share it.
And the thing is, you know, and social media and all that, I get that. You can be friends, you can all that. But a lot of times if you haven't heard of the band, you have no idea how you're going to get a hold of the band until you hear the band. So if it's somebody that's actually listening to the radio because they want to hear new music, and all of a sudden they hear about this band, then they start going to the social media and the YouTubes and everything else to see more about the band.
Yeah. So the radio is where we get that information from. There's no question. It's a very exciting thing, and you get to do stuff like this too. You know,
right?
You know, to be able to talk to a band and then hear kind of what's going on behind their music, and it's an amazing thing that it's kind of it's a fantasy thing. You know, it's Radio Land.
Well, you know what? We're on it right now, and you can talk to everybody listening out there right now so they can find out more about the band Wayland and get turned on to you guys. How can they find out more information about Wayland?
Well, the best way to keep in touch with us, and we are, like I said, we're extremely accessible. Our Facebook page is like a 24-hour Wayland TV. We post videos. We do Q&As. We do our Wayland Warrior Fan of the Day, all kinds of stuff on there. And our website, waylandtheband.com, same thing. We post a totally different special video on there every day for the members of that. You can sign up to be a member. We're also on Twitter, Instagram. We have tons of YouTube videos of us on the bus and us backstage and us on stage and us catching snakes in the basement of our old farmhouse and all kinds of ridiculous stuff. So, if you Google Wayland, it's endless. You'll be there for weeks.
And obviously, you guys are on tour, too. Anytime coming back up to Minnesota to play? I know you've played Minnesota before, right?
Minnesota, yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah, man, we'll be up there soon. I know we got to make it up there one more time before the snowfall, which is, next week or something?
That was last week already. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, I bet. I would not doubt it.
No, it's actually...
we'll get up there by the end of the year.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Hey, I know you said something about a new single coming out maybe in a couple weeks. Weeks? Any way you could get a leakage of this? Do we know what it's going to be?
Absolutely.
What is it going to...
I'll send it out to you guys. As soon as I get the master, I'll get it out.
Awesome. That would be great.
We don't, like I said, we don't hold back. We get that stuff to our friends.
Even better. And especially, I'm sure you're playing it out on your concerts, too, already.
Oh, yeah. The song's called Bloody Sunrise, so we're playing it live, and it's a fan favorite. We let the fans choose our singles. We write the songs, we start playing them, and when they get that reaction, we're like, that's the one. Let's go.
Well, I know you got a gig tonight, Phillip, so I'll let you go here, but a lot of fun talking to you. Looking forward to meeting your band in person sometime, seeing you guys rock out. And thanks so much for joining me on The Dark tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Once again, that is the guitarist from the band, Wayland. That is Phillip Vilenski. And you want to hear some new music right now from them? How about their an older song, Get a Little? It's on The Dark. It's on